Hello, everyone. May 17th, Friday. How are you? Well, I'm going to be brave because I'm letting some music play that I just received to review, and we'll see if I get a copyright strike. I'm thinking maybe I won't. People are telling me they're not getting them. Richard, thank you for including me on your mailing list of Lumberton Trading and Fourth Dimension releases. I'm going to take it off now so I can show it to you. I am listening to the new Bass Communion release that just come out. The Itself of Itself. CD only, 1,000 copies. Here it is. Stephen Wilson of Porcupine Tree, No Man fame, and now Atmos fame. He's the Atmos man. This is a new Bass Communion release called The Itself of Itself. Limited edition of 1,000 copies through Lumberton Trading Company. Good on you, Richard, for getting the license from Stephen to put this out. This is screaming for a full 12-inch vinyl release with all the lovely artwork. It's one of the things I love about Stephen Wilson's aesthetic, of how he does things. It's very artful and very lovingly so. So this is not my first Bass Communion record, but this, if you were just a Porcupine Tree listener and didn't know about this and heard it, you wouldn't make the connection. This stuff is totally about sound exploration. Sounds like there's some cathartic things going on regarding feelings and thoughts for Stephen Wilson in the making of Bass Communion music. I look forward to, and I hope that it does happen, that I get to talk to Stephen Wilson soon, because I haven't heard him talk about Bass Communion with anyone. If there are interviews, I have not come across them. I've watched a lot of content regarding Stephen Wilson's work in Porcupine Tree and all that stuff, and production and remixing. I really don't remember hearing him talking about this. So I'd love the opportunity, besides talking about record collecting, I'd like to ask him what's going on here. I imagine that for him, like myself, I'm going to include my own experience, because I do stuff like this, but not in the same, well, maybe in the same way. Sounds like there's sound exploration going on here, literally. But it sounds, I'm curious about his process and what's going on with him. When he makes this stuff, does he listen back, or does he just do it and then he's done? I will say, though, that I've listened to this already, so I could talk about it enough to say that I hear the different things he's doing on here. Starting, there's a track on here called Bruise. Wow. It sounds like it. But thankfully, for those of us that like his more melodic stuff, it does include that. Apparition 5. There's two of them on here. There's two apparitions on here. And the second one, Apparition 5, is the most melodic thing on the the album. And it's very nice. Real happy to add this to the collection. This is screaming for a vinyl release, though it is. And it's good work. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued to want to talk to Stephen Wilson about that whole trajectory of his work, because it's all base communion stuff, and I have a few. There's several. I only have a few. Like this one, Loss. This is so very much about death. And once again, I love the continuity of aesthetic visually. The small font, that are used on most of the base communion releases I've heard. But it's dark. It's seemingly dark stuff. Maybe it isn't. It seems to be like, so like I have the base communion Loss on picture disc. For some reason, this was going online several years ago really cheaply. And I kept wondering, why is this so cheap? I'm going to go ahead and get one. This is not the sort of thing to play on a picture disc. And so this is just a collector's item. But the whole approach, the dead child, I would like to talk to Stephen Wilson about these records. This is interesting. I touched base on a couple more, listening to the new one to see, how it compares or how it fits in. It's a body of work. It's a whole body of work. I have this other base communion. Again, it's the aesthetic is litany on tone float. This one is has more of a melody going. Not a melody, but there's tones, not just sound, there's tones. The first base communion record I got was this. And I dare say, I do think that someone gave this to me because of the split top. Because it's all split out at the top. I imagine that someone bought this, was unhappy, bought it again, and gave this copy to me because they couldn't stand the damaged cover. But this is the first base communion record that I got. And again, I love the aesthetic. Yes, I would love to talk to Stephen Wilson about this aspect of his work. This is on white vinyl. I just like his approach to his work overall. Very much. I think it's awesome as famous as he's becoming, that he still works with independence. He just strikes me as, a real music lover, music nerd, genuine. And I have this, Base Communion and Pig, live in Mexico City. I showed the CD online, and someone who probably knows Richard or is maybe part of that circle is going to see Base Communion this weekend. I think maybe tonight. Cool. And this is the green edition. This is on different colors. I have the green one. This is heady stuff. It's not casual listening. It's not casual listening. It's good stuff. So, once again, Richard, thank you for keeping me on your mailing list for Fourth Dimension Lumberton. You're doing some cool stuff, my friend. Very cool stuff. And I hope the edition of 1,000 sells out. I hope it does. Even at Stephen Wilson's level, you can't assume that something like that is just going to everyone's going to just buy it. I hope it does sell well. And I hope I get to talk to Stephen. I do. Cheers, people. So what's going on this weekend, or tonight actually, in Omaha is Duran Duran is playing in Omaha. I wouldn't buy a ticket. If someone gave me a free pass to go tonight, would I go? Maybe. It's at this point, so much of it is about nostalgia and just seeing. So like seeing the Rolling Stones, at this point, it's mostly like, well, I saw the Rolling Stones. They're still playing. But it's like, there's a lot of going through the motions at that age. I mean, you can tell me otherwise, but I've been watching the uploads of their shows, and it's like, I can see where, half the band would be just as happy to be at home sitting in front of the TV or having already gone to bed. That's not a diss. That's a comment about age and about reality, and how, as hard as Mick tries as a frontman, he's a great frontman. He can't make the audience do what they used to do when everybody was really young and it was exciting and new. Those days are over. So tonight, Duran Duran in Omaha will be mostly a nostalgia trip. It doesn't excite me at all. But if someone offered me and said, "Hey, Dereck, you want to go tonight?" I might. We'll see. I'm kind of putting it out there with that in mind. More than anything, at this point, I like meeting people. I'd love to just meet them and say, "Hey, nice to meet you." One record, Solus Lacus, jazz rock. Is this Belgium? I think so. It was recorded in Brussels. I played in Brussels. I really enjoyed Belgium when I was there. I was there for a couple of days. This is very good. Kind of like Nucleus. If you've heard Ian Carr's Nucleus, it's like that. It's in that wheelhouse. Very good playing, good arrangements, good writing. Let's check the comments. So I will share this. People who leave silly comments or things that don't make sense, I just delete them. I don't know what your purpose is for not making sense with me, so I just ignore them. So someone's asking, was the Antiquarium in Omaha? Yes, it was a wonderful store. Tom Rudloff, who ran the store and died many years ago, I first started to go there when I was a kid. And he was so kind and respectful to me. And Everett, if you see this, you remember Tom, we'd go down there after school and have these wonderful conversations. He treated us like adults. Loved that man, and I loved the Antiquarium. Loved that store. I miss, my mom was a regular down there. It'd be kind of cool. I'd go to the Antiquarium for my own purposes, and I'd run into my mom down there. That would happen sometimes, which is pretty cool. Yeah, news, the way news travels, it's like in waves. I'm seeing here through the comments, and some people are still just now finding out about Steve Albini. And yeah, Kaleidoscope was great. I was thinking if I can. Someone mentioned that a song is done by Eclection off of the Kaleidoscope. I have that Eclection album. I ought to pull it and do a comparison. Someone here says Heinz, Hoffman, Richter equal Rod McEwen. Hard to believe. Well, I didn't completely read the backstory on here, so if it's an anonymous, it could be. I enjoy the album. Someone tells me that I should have kept Rape Man. I know what I like. I did not like the Rape Man album, and I didn't like the name of the band, Rape Man. I understand that Albini was all about just saying and doing exactly what he felt, didn't mind kicking against the pricks and doing things to get reactions. And I think Rape Man, as well as the cover of Headache, were examples of that. I did not like Rape Man. It's like I said, just because something is good, like he says, there's some really great musicianship on that album. Just because it is doesn't mean that I'll like it. I didn't like it. Okay, so Bruce is saying that the song "Please" Eclection did a great cover. Can I just find that right quick? Come on, Eclection. Yes. Is it on here? Okay, he's saying, I like the song "Pleased" by them. The UK band Eclection did a great cover of it that never got. Oh, it didn't get released. Great shame. How about that? So, how about that? But I do have the Eclection album, and this is a good album. Good musicians. Jerry Conway, and Trevor Lucas, who played with a lot of different folks, are on here. Good album. Yeah, so that's what's going on today. No big plans. I was at home all day yesterday, so probably will try to get out today. It's beautiful. When you see this stuff, I hope that you're having a good day. I see your latest picture on Instagram. It's great to see you, but you know something? I can tell that you're working. Work shows. Pardon me for doing two things at one time. The wear of work shows. I see it. I see things. I'm not a psychic or nothing. I just pay attention, okay? And the latest picture of my sister, it's great to see her, but I can see that she's tired, or I can see that she's been working. Interestingly, I'll see little things where it's like, it looks obvious to me. So the other day when I had lunch with my friends, the McAvoys, their daughter Lil, while we were there, I had an onset of a migraine. I could see it in her forehead, after she went like this, and it's like, because I don't have migraines much, but I know what they're like, and I could see that she was in pain, and then I looked, and I could see in her forehead, and then I said, Lil, I swear I can see your headache. You guys see this? Her parents, and then I pointed to the spot on her forehead where you could see the blue. It's like this. It's like it just went from the time we were sitting there to the time I noticed it. This spot in her forehead. It's like, man, you can see the blood work going on. And after I pointed it out, they said, "Damn!" And no, that's it. That's where I just pay attention, and notice things. So, have a good weekend, folks. I have no plans to come on here and talk over the weekend. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Always hoping for good things, but the news, which I'm not going to black it out because the news is still there. I can have a wonderful day and never know about all the madness happening in the world. I could, but for me, it's too late. I'm plugged in. I want to know. And there is a residual effect, all the madness on our lives, even if we are oblivious to it. Okay? So just imagine living in wonderful ignorance of what's going on, and then waking up 1 year to go and do something that you always assumed you could do, and you can't because it's become an authoritarian state, and you've lost all your rights. I'm watching this shit, people. Take care.